Today is the Friday into the Easter holiday. I don't celebrate Easter anymore. Uh, I have I have moved forward uh, and am not in Christianity anymore. I'm not in religion anymore. So those celebration that people do I don't do it anymore. Not even Christmas. I was a Christmas freak before. I had very much going on. I take some weeks to set up everything for Christmas. I had a Christmas tree, but it was outside with lights only, where I have my flower climbing up on this stand for like a pyramid stand for to climb up. There I placed lights around it so it looked like a Christmas tree. That was the only thing I had in Christmas. And but my daughter, she is in Jesus Church. She Jesus Lover Church, a church that is thinking that Jesus is God, and she is into all this celebration. So she wanted to come to celebrate Easter with me yesterday, because she is going to her father to celebrate. It's 4 days here in Sweden, Easter, and those 3 days she should stay with her father because she get much gifts from him because he's so very wealthy, and she is allowed to be in his kitchen, and she can buy whatever she wants of food to do, groceries to do. So she loved to be there, and it's a big house. That is a house. I wrote it how I wanted the house to be, and my daughter's father still lives in that house. It was me that have to go from the house together with my daughter, and it's a 3-floor house, so it's a very big 8-room is it in the house. So she have much space, and I understand that in some way, but and it's because she is in these Jesus things, and they don't understand the deep spirit in it, as they are not in the real God. So they are more like childish thinking. They thinking worldly. My daughter loved to shopping. She loved money, and but I didn't want her to come here. I have giving up on my children, and giving up on to have a family, because now is I have my family in heaven, and I haven't come so far. So what I have here on earth is not so much important for me anymore, and and as my what make me think like I do with my daughter, it was because when I knew I should go to the hospital and lay there for some days in the hospital, I called my daughter and asked her if she could come home to me and take care of my home when I was in the hospital. And she have been taken of the devil, and she was very talent child when she come to that church, but and she sings so very beautiful, and she was very talent in web designs and many other things in arts, and this church let her work inside the kitchen in their restaurant, and doing peel the potatoes like that, peel eggs, and be there hidden in the kitchen, and not they have performance, but she never is allowed to sing on the stage. So she was different from the beginning, but by brainwash her and put her down to not allow her to work in her talents, she go back in her development in the brain. But it seems like the older she be now, she take it back a little. She's coming through, but for some years she was going back in her brain because of what they did in that church. She lived there, and she lived there, and even if she worked for them, those people that is leader for the church, she have to pay for her room. She have one room, and she have to pay for it, and she don't get any salary like she should, and we can't not do anything about it because it says in the law. I have tried to find to see if it's legal to do it, to not let those people that working in the church, to not let them have any salary for their work. And the law is saying that if two agree to something, then is it okay? Then it's not illegal to do it. So my daughter accepted to not have any money, and she is lucky to have a father that is so very wealthy. So whenever she asks for money, he sends money to her. So she is okay in money, at least. And she come here, and she had a flower, Easter flower, and Easter bunny in the plants that she had with her. I'm glad she brought plants with bulb in it, in them, so it was not flowers that is cut off. I don't like that they kill kill flowers like that. And I prepare me before she come. I was thinking I am going to recording her because I am going to talk to her the deepest talk I am going to do. And before it's too late, we never know so, when we are going back to heaven. We don't know. So maybe this was the last chance for me to talk to her a deeper talk, discussion. And I could put on the recording without her seeing it. So I recorded everything that was of importance to recording. And I told her that it's something very important. We talk Swedish, so I can't tell you. I can't play it on here for you to hear, as it is in Swedish. But there is in my Swedish podcast. And I said to her that there is something. I was very shaking. I was so nervous what she should react on it. And but I say that I have something that I have thinking about for many, many years, I say to her, and now I want to have an answer from you. I say, I didn't expect to get the real answer from her because I knew already that the pastor that she had, and she had been with this church for 20 years, that she said once to me, it was when she had been only some few years in that church, and she said that I told the pastor that Jesus come down to our home, and I saw him, and the pastor stopped her and say to her that God is not talking to anyone. He said to her, so he stopped her, and then he have working on it with her brain to erase. But I still wanted to know if she remember anything of what happened in 2000 when God come and talk to me, and before God come and talk, there was someone standing in a corner of the room with white clothes and white beard and white hair. And today I know it was a higher priest. It was not Jesus. But as I talked to her, and she is Jesus' lover, I didn't want to go into this with a higher priest. So I talk like it was Jesus standing in the corner to her. And that's what, if she saw him, then it's what she was thinking it was anyway. So I don't lie for her in that way, because she recognized this man as Jesus. And I asked her what she remember of that evening that was so important evening, and she said she didn't remember anything. and I saw her the face, how she looked like when she lie, when she sit and lie on for me, and she is like white in her face, and then be like paralyzed in her face also, because everything is going into the brain to think how to answer me, and then her eyes is like going up in her skull, like it's disappeared the eyes, and it's rolling around the eyes when she talking, and she lie to me. I saw she lie to me, and I told her to not lie, and but she denied it. But then also that she is born like that. She defend, so she defend people, and even if she have to lie, she defend them, and that she have done that since she was a child, and today I think that was something that the devil had been working in her about, to not tell the truth, to 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 defend some people, even if they are total wrong, and she knew it, she know it, but she still defend them. So it's very sad that she is like this, but I was thinking that I maybe open a door to her, that she maybe are thinking about it, because she remember everything in other years. She remember when she was in Texas and lived and was in the school in Texas, and that was before God come, and everything. Every years around 2000 she remembered, she could tell things about it. But when it come to 2000, it was erased in her mind. And I try many times to ask her about what she really heard and saw that evening. I know she was surprised and shocked over that I started to talk to her about it, and I didn't talk to her like I normally do. I was really pushy on her, because I told her many times, it means very much for me that you. Then it's also that pushed me. It was because I knew it was recording, so I wanted her to answer, and I was hoping she was answer me truly, but she never did, and that make me more. I be very angry. I felt like not the true anger from a person to a person. I felt spirit anger. So when I was in this, it was like I was in a blue-gray cloud of anger, and I know it was God that had this anger to her. And I said to my daughter, then I can't help you. And she say, what help me? Then she be curious and ask, what help me? and say, God is hearing you. God hear you lie, I say to her. And she don't not react anything. She only place her back in the sofa a little more, straight her up. But she don't react. She didn't answer me on that. And it's true. I really told her the truth. I can't help anyone that lie in front of God. Even if it's my children, I can't help them because they make their own decision if they want to be together with me in heaven or not. And my daughter had very much sin. I'm sorry to say it. I wish it was the opposite, because she had not helped me anything to come forward and talk about how God come and talked to me and took me out. But the good thing that I was in this mood of anger to that she was lying, that so I could go forward, and I told her, do you know why I left Sweden and I left you? Do you know that? And she said, no, you only left, she said. I said, you have never asked me why I left. You have never wanted to know my life. She have always been into her father. And I don't know if I placed her there, because that's what my mother did, to make me think that men is so much better, and we women should serve men. Whatever, it doesn't matter if they rape you, they are okay to do it. That's what my mother raised me like that. And maybe there was something I did wrong when my daughter grew up, that she saw it like I served the man, and and I serve her father in that way, so she think that the father was only important for her, and I was not important. I maybe did something wrong that I didn't know, because I was raised on my own in that way, but I didn't told her to do something that serve men. I didn't do it, but maybe I act that what you act, that can also place into your children. It doesn't matter what you are saying. If you act in another way, then what you act is more coming into that child, and make that child think it is this because you act like that. So I maybe did wrong, because I was staying home mother most of the time, and her father come home from his job, and I always change my clothes to have nice clothes on me when he come home. And when he was in his job, I had more relaxing clothes, a little trashy clothes, because I was working in the home. but she saw that I changed my clothes before he was coming home. And then I did dinner for him and served him. And her father always go up to the television, or he was very much in listen at the radio and was angry about everything he heard. And I, as I have had in my childhood, that my parents was fighting and screaming at each other, am I very sensitive to high voices and high anger discussions. So when he sit and hear on the radio something that he didn't like, he could break a pen. He could rip up his clothes in anger, be very red in his face of what he heard. And when he did that, I go back to my childhood and try to be like a shadow. I didn't want to be visible. I wanted to be a sink down under the floor when he did that. And maybe that make her also think that her father was so very important person and important for her life. So maybe that was the error. But that is hard to not do it when you going back to the childhood and act like you did when you were a child, because it was something that you took in mentally. So it's hard to. So many of these things, it's not about what we are saying, but it's what we are showing. And so I told her that I didn't have any choice but to take a flight to United States. And I told her that her father was that helping me to the airport in Copenhagen that morning. And so her father could have stopped me from flying to United States, but he didn't. And he took her home, and I left Sweden. I left my husband. I left my work, everything. And because I was taken of God, I told her I was taken of God and I had no choice. And then I told her, and I saw that she come to be shaken when she heard that. I said to her that I was on my way to go out in the water and kill myself in 2000 because everything that was going on, that we have to leave Texas, I say, because my husband have done bad things. And then in Sweden, when we come back to Sweden, I find out that my husband had HIV, and in that time it was deadly. It was, if you get HIV, you will soon get AIDS and then you die. And I told her all these things that I have carried with me, and we have not. She didn't know it because she have never asked me. But now in this anger I had, I could tell her everything. And then she opened up and she asked about her father, and she said that about his sexuality, and I told her how I was like abused of him because I had to do what his sexual interest. It was not my interest in sexuality. It was his fantasy that I should do. And I did, because I told my daughter it was because I was raised like that the man was the like God over women. We were slaves under the man, and so I did everything he wanted to do. I fulfilled his fantasy in sexuality, and then I also go into political system because he wanted to have this. He always listened at political things, and he told me to go in and be political person and talk about that interest of him. And he couldn't do it. I had to do it. It was it when I talking now. I think it was like my mother used me as a child as a Munchausen syndrome by proxy. It's those that feed their baby with poison, and so the baby is going to the doctor, and sitting there with the doctor, they can talk about their problems in life. They can't do it in other way, because the doctor say, looking at the child, and then I ask, how is it at home for her, the baby? And then they can tell many things that is a problem in the home. And my mother have a problem with my father that was heavy drinker. He was not sober one day in his life with her, and he had many other women, and he told her that he had other women, and she never take divorce from him, and she divorced him when we were 3 children in a family, but when we grew up, my adopted sister, she was 15 years old, like now I know, like my daughter was when God come. So that make me could see the different, that something is wrong with my daughter about, because they were in the same age, and my adopted sister told my mother to divorce my father. She make us crying and tell mother to divorce. My mother had going to the church and talk to a pastor. That was a common thing to do, even if she was not in the church, but you could go and get advice in a family situation in the church. So she was to a pastor, and the pastor say the best for the children is to stay with your husband. And it was total wrong. because we were so very hurt. And my adopted sister was, she never told, but I can tell that she was abused of my father because he was a pedophile, my father. I know that because he did things with me sexual, but he never penetrate me. But he did sexual things on me and talk sexual in front of us when we sit and eat breakfast before he going out and drinking. We sit in a breakfast and he could talk sex to us in that pastime when a woman never show up naked to her husband like that. They were talking in front of us and about us, what we have on our bodies. So, but my mother hold it, the marriage. But when we start to cry and told her to leave our father, and the pastor had said it's the best for the children to have their father with them. And then she saw us really crying. We were so mental tired. We were crying out our heart for our mother to divorce our father. And that it must be much that the father have done if the children should ask the mother to divorce. Most children want to have both parents together with them, but we didn't want him in our life. And my father died of his heart was growing because of his drinking, and so the heart break up on the dance floor. He fall down dead, and so the good thing, the answer I got from my daughter, that I wanted the answer from her, and I got the answer from her, but it was not the answer that I had hope for, but I knew it inside me because what she had told me before, that her memory of when God come have been erased, and that is made of, behind it is the devil that have done it. And it was the devil was already there in our room in 2000, because when it stopped everything, when God have stopped talking to us, and we like wake up from the spirit things, then we heard a really big sound from like a cat in the ceiling, come from the ceiling. So the devil had been there the whole time and check it out what's going on, and it was screaming, and I know that was the devil, because my husband, he told me that he used to see, he was waving to the devil. They were partners, my husband and the devil, and he used to wave at the devil in the night when he was out and smoking on our balcony. He come back and in the shadow he waved to the shadow, and he be pleased, he be happy, my husband, when he took down his hand that he waved with, and the hand was still up in the air waving to him. So he knew that was the answer from the devil. And then my husband say that the devil looked like I think it was this Simon in Kiss, the rock band, hard rock band Kiss. I think it was Simon. He said he looked like not Simon the man, but how he looked like when he had this painting in his face. He said that's how the devil looked like. He said to me, and it was like a cat, and my daughter, she heard it. She heard that sound, and she say, because it was 12 o'clock in the night. It was night, and we live in a duplex home, so I was frightened that the neighbors should hear the cat rowing, and my daughter say, "Oh, I forget to close my loudspeaker on my computer." She say, because she have in that time she had what is called a screen picture, and it was made like sometimes it was cats on it, and they move around a little, and then also they could make screaming in the loudspeaker sometimes. So my daughter thought it was from the computer, but I heard that it's come from up in the ceiling, just where this what I call Jesus was standing, in that corner. In the same corner it was the devil over this figure that I saw, not with God. He was not close to God. And then my daughter go to the loudspeaker and should turn it off. And like yesterday, she turned around and was white in her face and looked surprised. And she said, "It was already closed," she said. That was shock for her. But it was not shock for me, because I heard that the sound come from in the corner of the ceiling, and it was not in her room the sound come from. But she thought it was already this denial things. She thought it was her screensaver that sounded. And so I get the answer from her that the memories is swept out from that evening. But I hope that when I have talking to her, that she start to remember, because there was many answers she got yesterday. I told her that she say about her father's sexuality, that she had find some picture in his room now when she is adult, and she wondering why she find those picture, and she says she finds some picture on his computer also when she is sitting there and talking to her friends on internet, and sometimes she can find those porno pictures, and she got the answer. I told her what was going on, and I told her that's why we broke up, because one day I say I couldn't do it anymore. I come to that point that I say to my daughter's father that I don't want to do those things for you in sexuality. So he left in the weekends and went to people that could do it for him. So he left the sexuality from me. But when he did that, he had no use for me anymore. That's what I was for him. I was his sex toy, his sex tool to live his fantasy. And he said that to me many times. I don't want to die curious, he say, and that was about sex. And he say in that way, so it sounds like it was my fault that I stopped him from living out his sexuality. And then one day it was impossible to do it anymore. And maybe one more month later he told me that you have to move out from the house. I want to live alone and take the daughter with you, he said to me, because he couldn't have our daughter with him when he should do his sexual things. He wanted to turn into that house to be his sexual fantasy house. So that stopped him when he had to take our daughter back home to that big house. So it was, I feel really free from that burden about my daughter. I am disappointed, but now I know that there is nothing to get from her when it's come to God. That is closed, but in some way I hope that I open a door into her brain yesterday, because I did something that she didn't expected me to do, because I always have been mild and being this that you can abuse. And now yesterday I took place for the first time. So maybe I wake her up by doing it. And then every time she have come into my home, I'd be so happy that she's coming. Like it was 11 months since she was here the last time. She is very seldom here, and very seldom also talk to me. To and it's like she have something that tell her that she need to take contact sometimes, because she have not so much to talk about to me. She don't call me for something. It's only that she feel like it was long time since I talked to my mother, and it can be like 6, 8 weeks between that she wondering what I'm doing, and as she have been like this, I it's not so much I can talk to her about, because we don't have a close relationship. We have no close contact. We don't know what to say. I can only talk to her like I do talk to strangers, that I find some topic to talk about. So mostly I talk about food, and I talk about history, because she's very good in history. So it's interesting to hear what she's saying, things that I don't know, but she know. She read very, very much books, like I did. I read very much books. I was in the library all the time, and then in 2000, when God come and took me, I lost the ability to read a book. Since 2000 I have not read a book, and there is people that have sent me books because they think I only say it, and they want me, and I send you a book, can you tell me about what you think about the book? And I say to them, I can't read the book you send me, because that is gone for me since God come and talked to me and took me out. He don't want me to read books. He want me to listen at him talking in the spirit way. And I was hoping, when I started this recording, I was hoping that to get some answer from what's have happened yesterday. And I think something is coming through now. There is some spirit activity. There is something, but it's coming from far away, and it's not strong enough to come forward. You have to come forward very fast now, because we can't wait. It's not television here. First it looked like a man, and then it's a woman, and then back to a man. So it's maybe because this man have long hair. Let's see if there is any answer. He say that it's coming through. That's how he started to talk. It will come through, he say. Your daughter is going to wake up. He say, he's promised me these things. He's over me now very much. And he remind me to tell you that what those other spirits have talking to you about, you that listen. And they have told you from the beginning that it's going to be waves of pain and suffering, and it's this we are living in a tribulation, so it's coming waves of not what you were thinking about in the beginning when we were talking about those waves that is coming, and it will be a tsunami coming. So it's not only a wave, it's gonna be a big wave that sweep away everything in its way. So this have happened and is happening now, that they say that you should store up before it happened. And now it's happened that the benzene, that the fuel for the cars, it's being more and more expensive. And Russia, they make those items that is in those stations that the electric cars, that they have inside them those machines that is like natural gas part that is from Russia, and it either will be stopped or they want more money, and then it's going to be more money to charge those cars. And its electricity have also going very high. And yesterday we heard from the news that the prices in Sweden have going up very high. It have not been so high I can't say the word this higher prices and everything. This peak have not been. It was 30 years since we had a peak before, and now we have this peak that everything is going to be more expensive. And I think they knew it here in Sweden, because my retirement was going up. I got a little more money, and I think that's because they could see it, that it's going to be more expensive with everything in the society. That's, I have stored up much food here, and the food is going to be more expensive, and it's going to be more expensive. But when after a time it's going to be balance on it. So, but just now is it the wave coming in, and then it's playing out, it's going away, but that is very good, that I don't need to buy food until it start to be balance again on it. And so the what was saying in the beginning when I started the podcast, it's coming true. It's coming true now. Those waves, and I wait for this tsunami they are talking about also, and they are talking about to prepare for a new COVID wave. Is they see it coming, and you know that it's I don't know where it was, but in a part of China, I think it was Shanghai, where they close everything. They close and separate the children from the parents to stop the pandemic. And so it's going on. It's bubbling. It will come a tsunami again, but I can't tell what it is, but maybe it is a COVID wave on its way again. So we have the pandemic still going on here in Sweden and in Europe and all over the world. But the media don't want to talk about it. So people think it's over. Many people think it's over and relax, and then they start to spread again. And then we get a new wave of it. So the government know it. It will come, a new wave of. So I tell you this, that my suggest being in the spirit just now when I talk, and he is talking also about this that is here. He say, enjoy the summer. He say, enjoy the summer. Be careful, but enjoy the summer, because it's gonna be tough again. It's gonna be tough again. Enjoy the summer, but not be careful to come close to people and invite people or go into many people in big crowds, festivals, and this in the summer. But enjoy it, the summer, barbecue with your family and holding this distance and clean your hands when you touch something that could be something with COVID. So that I will end with it. He's on me very much. He say to me, I couldn't stop now, because he's saying that he's old. It's very much now. It's something, someone or all of us. He want to give some, like he say, energy. He say that it was not my meaning to put you down. It was only a warning, because we love you so much, we in heaven, and we want you to be free as you can, but not so free that you kill yourself. And I feel something in my heart now. It's a little painful. It's going out from my heart, something. And he pull out the energy, the heart energy to you. So maybe it's someone that have the problem with your heart, that he's on his way to. He don't say healing. He say giving energy. He's saying to you, and he give energy to everyone that need to get it. So it's not pain in my heart now. I had a pain in my heart for some seconds. So he took out it and sent it to you, what was in my heart to you. And my heart have the love, and it's the love for you that was sending out. So I can stop now because I say it a little slowly, so he can send so much energy that he want to send to you. So thank you for listen to this episode. I hope my daughter will open her brain to remember. And she was sending a message to me this morning with a big heart to me. So maybe it's open up for her. Maybe I help her by feel this anger of God. So time will tell. Time will always tell. Thank you. God bless you.